The A major open chord is the first chord we'll go through, as it's one of the easiest to pick up and get you started. So what makes the chord what it is? The A major chord is based on the first, third and fifth notes from the A major scale. Scales sound pretty scary, don't they? But don't worry, they're easy to grasp. You just need to know a few simple things to help you understand them. Let's have a go. So what are scales? In music, you only need to know one scale and then everything else falls into place. So what is this magical scale? It's the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is all the notes we can play in music. There are a limited number of notes, 12 in total. We can use in music the chromatic scale as shown below. The hash symbol or number symbol indicates a sharp note, and the B, the slightly small B symbol, represents a flat note. It's not really important to know the exact reasons for these, especially in the initial stages of guitar. You just need to know that they exist and be aware of them. Sharps and flats are interchangeable for some notes, i.e. the A sharp is the same as a B flat. However, they have different meanings depending on the scale that you're in. It's an important concept to grasp that musical notes in the chromatic scale are not linear, i.e. not on one line, but it's best to think of them in a circular motion. So here's a wheel that shows you that. So if we work from the bottom, where we see our A on the bottom, where you probably say 5 o'clock was, and in the black circle is what we're going to work round. So we increase in pitch from that reference note. So if we work round in the smallest amount, which is a semitone, so the smallest amount you can move in music is a semitone, and a tone is 2 semitones. So that's the way of thinking about it. So you think of it in terms of a semicircle and a full circle. So if we go A, upper semitone is A sharp or B flat. As you can see in the green circle, we're showing the equivalent flat note here. It's not complicated, it's just a pattern that you need to recognise and remember, and you will get it eventually. So moving on from there, we go A sharp to B, and then the next step actually doesn't go up to a sharp note, it goes to C. I've written B sharp there just for an indication, just so you're aware of that, but there's only a semitone between them. So if we go up B to C, then C to C sharp, C sharp to D, D to D sharp, D sharp to E, E to F, that's another one that doesn't have a sharp in the middle, F to F sharp to G, G to G sharp, and then G sharp to A. And we've come full circle. But there obviously can't be one scale, because you might have heard of a major scale or a minor scale, also major chords and minor chords, because I've told you that the A major chord comes from the A major scale. So how does this chromatic scale work with this? So basically, the major scale is a selection of notes from the chromatic scale, with some special spaces between them, and these spaces are called intervals. So what are intervals? A musical interval is really simple. It's basically the spacing between the notes when played in order or together. You've only got a semitone, which is the smallest amount in music that you can move between two pitches of notes. So that is the smallest interval we can move. So we can increase that by a factor of semitones. Let me demonstrate this. So you've got one semitone, then 2 semitones is a space, which is twice as big as one semitone. 3 semitones is 3 times, 4 semitones is 4 times, and on and on. We can move up bigger steps at once, so we can go a tone, which is 2 semitones. So we can go 1 tone, 2 tones, 3 tones, 4 tones. You get the idea. The easiest way to remember this in terms of looking at the guitar is the change in pitch when you move up or down by 1 fret on the guitar. So when you move 1 fret, that is a semitone. That's the smallest amount we can move on an instrument that has frets. So try doing this on your guitar so you get an idea of how this sounds. So you could, for example, play on the top thick string, you could play on the 3rd fret and then move up to the 4th fret, and you can hear that. That is a semitone moving up between those two. So a musical scale is made up of a combination of a mix of tones and semitones depending on the type that you're playing, i.e. major or minor, for example. Just know that if you remember the chromatic scale, you won't go far wrong, because it all comes back to this. And if you can remember this and where it comes from, it's easy to remember the other ones. So the first one we've started with is the major scale. So we'll go through why that is the major scale. So the intervals for a major scale, starting from the root, go up in this pattern. Starting with the first one, it goes up a tone. You can see the T represents the tone between the notes. And then going from that, it's up another tone. Then from that, it's up a semitone. And then from that, it's up a tone. From then, it's up a tone. Then up another tone. And then finally a semitone, and you hit the tonic again, which is the starting note. Even if it's not the same note, it's just another octave in pitch. And we'll go through what octaves are later. All you need to know is this is the pattern or the recipe for making a major scale from wherever you start. So going through the A major scale now, we'll just pull up the wheel to show you exactly where we're on the diagram. We start at A down there, and we move up a tone, so that moves us round to the B. And then we move up another tone, which is 2 spaces, we move up to the C sharp. And we move up a semitone, which moves us up 1 space to the D. We then move up a tone to the E, then another tone to the F sharp, another tone to the G sharp, and then finally a semitone takes you to the A, which completes the whole octave. So an octave is meant of basically being your 8 notes. Octave, octagon, octopus, 8 things, so that's the way to remember it. So you're 8 notes above. So you probably want to know how this helps when learning the A major chord on guitar. It's easy to just learn a chord on the guitar and then carry on using it in the song you're learning. But at some point you'll wish you'd learned a bit more about where these chords come from and how they relate to each other. Whichever chord on guitar you're learning to play, it's important and beneficial to understand that all chords come from the same origin. The fundamental chord of any form is the 1st, 3rd and 5th note of that scale. So for example, the A major chord on guitar, the notes used are the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th. So using the diagram above, these are obviously A, then we move around to C sharp, and then E. If we just play these 3 notes together, this is called a triad. Tri as in tricycle, so it's 3 notes. We have up to 6 strings on the guitar. We can play a triad, and some styles of music and songs require us to do that, but initially we're not going to complicate matters by making it more difficult to play than it should be. So we try to make the most of the strings by doubling up on certain notes to make the chord, or triad, sound a bit richer and fuller. The combination is dependent on the chord we're playing and where we're playing it on the guitar. So that's the theory behind it. Watch the next video and we'll take you through how to actually play it, and I'll show you.